Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be things the narcissist takes away from people. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So, there are so many things that the narcissist takes away from people. The first thing will be the belief that you have in yourself. The narcissist, from the very beginning when you met them, they did not want you believing yourself. So what they would do throughout the relationship is they would gaslight you. But before they did that, they would be testing the waters of you to make sure that you would be a viable source of supply, and they would learn all about you. Now, belief is something that we all need to have in ourselves. And most likely that's what you had before you met the narcissist. You were believing in yourself. You were a kind, loving, stable, healthy person. I'm sure you were, and my hope is that's what you are now. But the narcissist can't have people believing in themselves. They can't have people not believing in the mask. So this is what the narcissist does. They surround themselves with enablers, flying monkeys, people they can manipulate, people they can trick and trap and keep in the narcissistic fog. And at one point that was you. It certainly was me. But when you lose your belief in yourself and you actually believe that another person has your best interest at heart, when in fact they don't, that is a very challenging place to be. And that is what the narcissist wanted. The narcissist wants everybody around them believing that they know best and what's best for them. That is why so frequently on the channel I suggest to you that seeing behind the mask is pivotal. It's instrumental. When you see behind the mask and you realize that the person that perhaps you fell in love with is not the person that actually you were in the relationship with. The person you're in the relationship with was the person that discarded you, that crumbled you up like a sheet of paper and threw you away on the freeway. There is no substance or core to these people. They are hollow, shallow, empty vessels. And what they take away from people, number one, is your belief. Another thing is your assets and your resources and your money. Think about all the money you spent when you were in the narcissistic relationship. Maybe you were putting a roof over their head. Maybe you were paying their way through college. Maybe you were providing a certain lifestyle. Maybe you were paying for vacations or children's tuition, etc. Maybe the narcissist that you're referring to was an Amazon shopaholic, who knows? But you were providing financial resources for the narcissist. And eventually, most people's resources financially come to zero because they are giving too much. They're being financially abused, and the narcissist knows this. So what they do is they try and take as much from you, in this case, finances or assets, and they want to leave you with nothing. Now, all the time they're doing this, remember, behind the scenes, the narcissist is looking for the new supply. They're looking for your replacement. You may not have known it back then. I certainly didn't, but that's what the narcissist does. They go from person to person, relationship to relationship, city to city, town to town, country to country, leaving a wake of destruction in their path. And they don't care about one person other than themselves. We now know that. But that's another thing the narcissist will take from you. They will take your money, and they will take every penny they can, because what the narcissist loves more than their money is your money. And that's why so frequently when you were in the narcissistic relationship, the narcissist probably was squirreling away some of your money, or they were hiding it, and they were claiming that they didn't have money when they were filling their coffers and their pockets with your money, or they were making their own money and claiming that they didn't make that much, but they would still be hiding their money and keeping it from you. But that's why you supported that relationship financially. Another thing that the narcissist wants to take from you would be your hobbies. Let's say, again, you like to go surfing, skiing, and you like to read. Well, when you meet the narcissist, you find out you're not surfing that often, you can't ski, and you don't read a book anymore because the narcissist doesn't want you doing any of those things. They want you doing what they want, when they want you to do them, and with whom. And usually in the beginning of the relationship, during the love bomb / euphoric stage, that's when they do the most work on the relationship. That's when they really want to have you fall in love with them or to put a roof over their head, etc. That's when they act like you are the best thing since sliced bread, and they are mirroring back to you what you want to see. So when you fell in love with that person or you entered the relationship, you thought that they were a very unique and absolutely incredible person, and you wanted to perhaps put a ring on their finger. Who knows if you did or didn't, but the point being, you did. Or maybe they wanted to put a ring on your finger because they realized what a valuable and beautiful, bright, shining light you are, and they did not want to go without your energy for a period of time, which was the length of your relationship. But this is what they want to take from you. They want to take your hobbies. So having said that, you found out after a period of time that you weren't skiing that often, you weren't surfing that often, and you weren't reading the book. But what were you doing? You were probably paying bills. You were probably being a sounding board. You were probably being the walking apology. You were probably being a chauffeur. You were probably being the person who kept the house clean and tidy. You were probably the person who cooked, cleaned, raked leaves and shoveled snow and did everything you possibly could. And of course you had to go to the store, because you had to go to the store with the items of the narcissist needs that you had to get properly. And let's say one time you forgot to buy the proper type of bread, well, they're going to send you right back to the store to get the right bread because you bought the wrong bread, even though on the list it showed you that the right bread was the bread that you bought. Having said all those things, remember, the narcissist is a topsy-turvy person. There's no stability with these people, and they want to take as much from people as they can. And so your hobbies was another thing. And remember, notice how you were becoming a shell of yourself because you were losing your identity to the narcissist. You did not know what was going on. You knew that you were on a roller coaster of emotions. And you knew that every time you saw the narcissist, you were holding your breath. Would it be a pleasant experience or would it be a challenging experience? You could never figure it out. But what you were doing throughout that relationship is you were putting out their fires. You were dealing with their drama. You were taking their manipulation. You were giving everything you had and more to that relationship because that's what you did. Now understand that back then you didn't know that most people, or that people on the planet, there are some of them, and the narcissist is at the top of the list, these people don't have your best interest at heart. We didn't know that back then. We know that now. And the whole point is, empathy is what I'll focus on for a moment. The narcissist has no empathy or love. And what they want to do is they want to steal your beautiful, bright, shining light and capture it and keep you under their thumb for as long as they possibly can, because they don't want you to find your purpose. They don't want you to be authentic or genuine. They want you to be silenced when you're in that relationship with them. That is why another thing they take from you is your voice. You didn't have a voice when you're in the relationship. You may have thought you did, but what you had was, you found out each and every time you would mention something to them, like what restaurant you wanted to go to for dinner or what movie you wanted to see, etc. They would just say to you, no, I don't think so. Well, let's don't do that. And what you found eventually is your voice was lost. You couldn't even stand up for yourself because you knew there would be a price to pay if you went to the restaurant where you wanted to go to. You also knew there'd be a price to pay if you saw the movie that you wanted to, or anything that made you you. What you did is you became silenced by the narcissist, and they took your voice away from you, and you became subservient to them. You became very weak, and you were stuck in the trauma bond, and you were stuck in that devaluation stage, and you were doing whatever they asked you or told you to do because you knew if you didn't do it, there would be a large price to pay. Example, let's say that you did something that you wanted to do when you were in the relationship. Well, then what would the narcissist do? If they found out that you did that and they didn't want you to do that, maybe you would experience the silent treatment for a few days. Maybe you would be gaslit into being told how you shouldn't have done that, and you promised that you wouldn't do it, even though you never said anything even similar to that. You would be blame shifted, saying, yeah, you always do whatever you want to do. You never even think about me. They would guilt you into things. That's why when you're in the relationship, it's bizarre world. You're on a roller coaster of emotions going around and around, upside down, inside out, and topsy-turvy, because you don't know what you're going to get from these people. And what you find out is the narcissist was taking more and more things from you. Think about this. Let's take the professional field. Maybe your line of work, maybe you are and or were a doctor or a lawyer or in the medical field, or maybe your job was in high esteem, meaning people looked up to you at the workplace and people were counting on you and asking you your opinions and how to do procedures, etc. Well, what happened there? We would go to work and people would look at you one way. They would look at you with respect and with dignity, and they would look up to you. And then what would the narcissist do when you got home? They would say, no, you're not a doctor. You're nobody. You're not a lawyer. You're nobody. You're not the breadwinner. Just go in there and cook or clean or do something. I don't want to hear about it. So what would happen when you were doing that is you would be going to work and you would be looked up at by your peers, and they would hold you in high esteem and high value because you performed at a high level at your occupation. And that's how you should have been looked at your whole life, to be honest with you. But when you got home, you were being invalidated. You were being told you're less than, and you were being subservient. It's almost as if when you went to work, you were one person, and when you got home, you were somebody else, because that's exactly how it was. You see, the narcissistic relationship, it changes you, and it doesn't change you for the better when you're in it. It changes you for the best when you get out of it and you heal and you reach the pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference. But I'm talking about when you were in the relationship. Think about it. I mentioned frequently on the channel that many times that when the narcissist would come home, you didn't know if it was Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde who would be opening the door. If you flip it and you went to work, you would be excited because you're actually making a difference in the world in whatever profession you were in or are in. You're changing the world and you're helping it out, and you're looked at in a certain light. But when you would come home, you'd be holding your breath. What's going to happen today? What am I going to be blamed for that I did or didn't do? What should I have done that I didn't do? What excuses am I going to have to give this person to tolerate their poor behavior? You see, you never know what you're going to get when that front door would open, but I can assure you, in the workplace, you were looked at as a high-value person. And when you were in your own house with the narcissist, you were looked at anything but. But the truth of the matter is, it's the narcissist who's the low-value person. They vibrate in the low vibrational quagmire state, lower than your shoe. And they know that, and you know that. So think about your profession. What did they take from you? They probably took your focus on your profession for a period of time. They probably took your belief in yourself in your profession. And maybe they even had you doubting if you were worthy to do your profession. But let's say that you did go to med school. Well, you trained and you went to med school for 4, 8, 12 years, whatever you did, and you're very successful. Think about that. Did the narcissist do that? Probably not. They probably just leached onto you and rode you as far as they possibly could. That's what they do. The narcissist is a parasite, and they're looking for a host. And they want to take as much from the host as they possibly can without the host ever figuring it out. And when the host has no more to give, that's usually when the narcissist will discard the host, and they will look on and on and on for a new host, i.e. the new supply. Now, human beings aren't hosts. We are beautiful, bright, shining lights. And we are people that have belief in ourselves. And we've been through the fire. We've risen through the ashes like a phoenix, and we know our value and we know our worth. That's something the narcissist never wanted us to figure out. But we finally saw behind the mask. We finally found that needle in a haystack. We finally got the message. And one day we went no contact. We blocked them. We deleted them. We removed all fly monkeys and people associated with them. And we began to heal. If we couldn't do that, we utilized gray rock. Maybe you are currently still in the relationship because you're waiting till one of your children graduates high school or college or something, or you're waiting till you sell your house, or you're waiting to get the divorce. I get all those things. The narcissist wants to keep you stuck and trapped as long as possible. But what they don't want you to do is they don't want you ever to return to the glory days of who you were before you met them. And again, like I share in the videos so frequently, you won't go back to the version of yourself before you met them. Once you've healed, you will enter the third version of yourself, the strongest, most galvanized version of yourself, because the 3 versions of yourself, the first one is the version of you before you met the narcissist. The second version of you is the version of you when you're in the relationship dealing with all the abuse and toxicity. And the third version of you is the healed version, or the person who was well on the healing path, headed towards that pinnacle of indifference. That person has changed forever for the good, not for the bad, for the good. That's once they've healed. But all these things are things the narcissist takes away from you. What about a city or a town or a country? Maybe you lived in a certain environment and you no longer are living there because that's where you were in the relationship with the narcissist and you had to relocate. Well, think about it. They may have taken that from you, but I don't look at it the way that they took it from you. They did for a period of time. The way I look at it is that place that you were thinking about, that city, town, or country, it served its purpose, and you had to go through a relationship in that city, town, or country, and now you've moved elsewhere because you need to get as far away from the narcissist as possible. You need to have your energy return, and your glow return, and your finances return, and your health return, and you need to rebuild. That's what many of us do on the channel and in the community. So the narcissist didn't take the city, town, or country. They just, for a period of time, had you stuck and trapped. So there are so many things the narcissist takes from you. Think about your children or the relationships you had with your children, whether they were biological or not. Many times the narcissist tries to drive a wedge between you and your own kids. And what do they want to do there? Well, first of all, they want to turn them into little mini-me's and perhaps even have them not have a good upbringing or childhood because they want to have a household of disruption, chaos, confusion, manipulation, and blame shifting. And they don't want the children to improve, or they don't want the children to do better than them many times. And when you're parenting or co-parenting with the narcissist, it is one of the most challenging things to do because you most likely were in love with your partner who turned out to be the narcissist, and they were trying to not help you raise the kids the proper way. They were trying to not co-parent with you. They were trying to invalidate your parental skills. And I'm certain that you were a better parent than the narcissist because the narcissist doesn't even want to parent many times. They only care about themselves. They don't care about their kids, their parents. They don't care about anybody, their siblings, their coworkers. They care about one person, which is themselves. So that's why usually the narcissist will pawn off their own children to the grandparents or to other people to raise them. This is exactly what they do so frequently. Not always, but they don't want you to get credit for being a good parent. And what the narcissist will do is act like they are the better parent. Usually what the narcissist will try to do is act like they're the kid's buddy or the friend, and they'll try and outbuy them presents and gifts that you can't afford or you don't want to give them. Example, let's say the child is 10-ish and you don't believe they should have a smartphone. Well, you told the narcissist back then, you didn't know they were a narcissist, that you don't believe that the child should have a smartphone. What did the narcissist do the very next day? Got the smartphone, gifted it to the child, and now you look like the bad guy. This is what goes on and on and on. Keep in mind, the narcissistic abusive cycle goes around and around, and there's only one constant in it, and it's the narcissist. It is not you. That is why you really need to get the message and go no contact and block these people, etc. But the many things the narcissist takes away from you, what about holidays or your birthday? Think about that. Maybe your favorite holiday used to be Halloween, as an example. Well, then you celebrated Halloween before you met the narcissist. You celebrated it when you were with them, perhaps, or maybe you didn't celebrate the way you wanted to, who knows. But then maybe you were discarded 2 days before Halloween. Was that a coincidence? No, it wasn't. It was meant to inflict the most damage upon you. It was meant to have you pining for the narcissist, to twist the knife in you, to making sure that you would pay the price for being you. Because you see, the narcissist was always in competition with you from the minute you met them. And right now, they're probably in competition with you right now because they're probably spying on your social media, whether you know it or not, or they're having flying monkeys check in on you to see if you've healed, to see if you've received the message and you are strong and you are in the third version of yourself. But the narcissists try to take away so many things from you. They try to invalidate you. Anything that made you you, they did not want you to achieve it or accomplish it or enjoy it or relish it. Think about your favorite food. Maybe you waited a month to get reservations in a certain restaurant. Let's say it was Indian food, which was your favorite. Well, you waited, you got the reservations, you're looking forward to that dinner in a month. It's the night before or it's the day of the dinner and you're all excited and you talk to the narcissist, hey, let's go grab dinner. And they're like, oh, I can't, gotta stay at work, late at work tonight. Sorry about that, we'll have to do it some other time. And you're scratching your head saying, but I made these reservations a month ago, what's going on? We knew about this. And they would just give you some nonsense excuse. And again, your plans for an enjoyable evening would be blown up, but you would give them a pass because you didn't know what you were up against. You didn't know the narcissist didn't even have to stay at work later. They just didn't want to go to that Indian restaurant with you because they didn't want you to enjoy it. This is what the narcissist does. They try to take away anything they possibly can from you. Understand the message. So the path is to really drown these people out. Don't explain, don't defend. Don't go down in the low vibrational quagmire state with them. Don't do it. The narcissist is stuck down there. They kept you trapped in that part, the low vibrational state for a period of time, but now you're not in it, you're out of it. And you've either healed properly or you're well on the healing path, or maybe this is the first video you're consuming and you're just getting the wisdom. Either way, stay away from these people. They only get worse. They only deteriorate. They do not improve. They know it, I know it, and you know it. Understand the message. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I almost did it without the car. No matter where you are on the planet, you're not alone. God bless you all. I love you. Have a great evening, and I will talk to you tomorrow. All right. Bye, everybody. I almost made it the whole video. Oh, my God.